Our next guest on the pod just completed the Cocodona 250 with a 10-hour PR. She's also a loopy looper. She may have bonked in the 2024 Boston Marathon. She ran the perimeter of Manhattan and is a board member of the New York Roadrunners. Needless to say, we are wicked excited to welcome Randi Zuckerberg to the On the Runs podcast. What's up, Randi?
Yes, I'm so excited to be here with both of you. And that was like a perfect summary of my entire running resume right there. So boom, from bonk to PR and back again.
That's
Yes.
what we're all about, the good, the bad, and the code brown of the sport. So welcome, Randi. I'm so happy you're here. And I love that Eric dropped this. You did Loopy Looper, and I did it for the first time last year. So we were there at the same time, and I wish I would have known you then, because I would have been there cheering you on as well and just giving you the support you needed, because you did 100 miles there, correct?
I did. I entered the 100-miler. I don't know what compelled me to do that, but yeah, it was an incredible day out there. And actually, one other woman and I both broke the course record that day, which was super
Beautiful.
cool. So we did a lot of loops around that lake. I never want to see that lake again.
And that wasn't even your first time doing it, correct? Like you've done a few other years in the Frosty Looper and
I have looped that lake an ungodly amount of times.
So there is a limit.
We always talk about Strava heat maps, and just those areas are like white hot. We know a lot of people who go there from the whole New Jersey area, and a lot of them are from the Baltimore area, but that's what, Cooper River State Park, right?
Yeah, I never knew it existed until a few years ago, and I probably am okay if I never know it exists again. No, it's a great race. Endless Endurance puts on an incredible race. So like I just giant kudos to their team. And there is something cool about a loop race because it makes it accessible to anyone. So like whether you're a first time ultra runner
Right.
or experienced, like you do get to, come back to your stuff every few miles. And it actually just like I think makes it a great kind of community ultra event. So no shade on the loop, even though I have a little bit of trauma response to thinking about that part.
I have a special place in my heart for looped races. So I totally understand the love-hate relationship that goes between them.
You should go back in December. Don't they do the winter looper? Is it called, what do they call it? The frozen
Frosty.
loopy? Frosty.
Yeah, so this year I was supposed to be on the mic announcing it because I had I tore my hip labrum and I was going to be on the mic announcing it, and my husband and son were going to be running, and then they canceled it because there was a blizzard. So so that was kind of a bummer, but maybe you'll see me back on the mic for one of those because I think it would be super fun to call in that race.
Is that something you've done before? Because Erica and I just like finally got to dabble in that a couple of weeks ago.
I've never done it before, and it's on my bucket list. So I thought I was going to get to do it at the Frosty Looper, and now it's like it's unchecked still on my list.
We got to get that. We got to check that box for you. We might be able to make some connections here. See what we can do.
I told Erica a thing I like to do here is I do all my research, but I don't tell her everything because sometimes it's a fun to get to learn on the spot, right? But we were going to the Boston Marathon at the Fan Fest, and I knew they wanted us to be a stage host for a while. And I just said, oh, they just want us to do a few things. Not a big deal. Just rip the Band-Aid off when we get there and be like, by the way, you're going to be on stage and you're going to have to talk to people. It's going to be fine. You're going to do great. And she did amazing. She did absolutely incredible.
I followed his lead. That's the easy part.
I love it. You know what? Sometimes like it's great to be surprised.
Well, I mean, you must be no stranger to public speaking because you said you're in Vegas right now. You're doing what are you there speaking for?
Yes, I'm actually, so I do a lot of lecturing about AI and tech. There's not a lot of women on the tech lecture circuit, so I try to say yes whenever I can, just to try to make sure that there's women on stage. So I'm currently here at a commercial real estate conference in Vegas, and this morning I gave a whole lecture on how AI can be used for commercial real estate. So it's fun. I get to kind of use a lot of different areas of my brain.
Very cool.
Well, you're very good at speaking. You have your own radio show too on XM, but we're not here to talk about talking that much. We're here to talk about running, and let's get to know you a little bit first. You ran a lot when you were younger, and then you picked it up again in the last like 4 years.
Yeah, I ran on my high school cross country team. I was terrible. I think I was like the last place person on the cross country team, but I was there for vibes. And I when I graduated from college, I feel like everyone that I knew already had a job lined up for like 10 months before graduation.
Ooh.
Not me. I didn't. I was going through like a terrible breakup. I had no direction in my life. And so I signed up on a whim for the Chicago Marathon. I had never done a marathon. Chicago wasn't like, there wasn't this like world major stuff back in 2003. I feel like I think I signed up the week before and everyone like lined up in a field basically and they were just like go and
Those were the days.
yeah, those were the days. And like there was no talk of carbohydrates or anything like that. Like it was like just water. And so everyone hits the wall at mile 20. It's just like, how bad do you hit the wall? And I crossed that finish line and I was like, never again. Like I'm done running for the rest of my life. Yeah. And then I picked it back up again in my 40s. So I actually went back and ran the Chicago Marathon again, almost exactly like 22 years to the date
Wow.
of it.
How are your
You
two
too?
experiences? How are they different?
Well, first of all, I was an hour faster in my 40s than in my 20s. So that's pretty cool because I feel like, I spent my whole life with the narrative that like when you get to your 40s, you get weaker and you get smaller and I feel like here I am and like I feel better than when I was in my
Faster as a
20s.
master.
Yes, faster as a master.
I love that phrase.
But I went back with my parents. I brought my parents back with me. They were at that finish line when I was 22. They were there when I was 42. And my parents have been at the like almost every finish line that
Aw,
I've done. So they continue to be like the biggest supporters and there when it matters.
excellent. Supportive family, that's the best thing.
We have this little. I've never run Chicago, but I love to give Erica a hard time because it's her
It's
favorite.
my favorite. Look at I got a Chicago
always,
poster right behind
yeah,
me. 40th anniversary.
I, I always give her a hard time. But I need to ask you this now. You've run New York, you've run Boston, you've run Chicago. No pressure, but can you rank them?
Oh my gosh. Okay, well, I think they're all different in different ways. Like if you were like rank them in like fun, I'd rank it in a different order than like rank it in like just like beast mode. Like
Mm.
New York is like the party marathon.
Yeah.
Like if you want to have fun and you want to experience the city, like you're running New York. If you want to like like if you want to like go fast, like you're running Boston, like I feel like you're lining up and you're just like trying to prove that you're there. I feel like Chicago is kind of a hybrid of the two. Like a lot of people go there because it's like flat and PR, but it has like some hints of New York. Like I remember when I ran it back in the day when I was 22, like I think the Cubs made it to the World Series that year.
Oh wow.
Almost every sign that I saw on the course was like "Go Cubs," and I remember being like, "Wait, wrong sport! Like I'm running. Can anyone cheer for the marathon, please? Like I get that this is a big deal for this city, but like I'm in a fucking marathon right now.
Yep.
Can one person have a sign that's like about running?" But like, so, I like Chicago has a unique flavor. So I didn't really answer your question because I just said like,
you actually answered it perfectly. Because no matter how you do it, I'm going to spin it and say, see, Erica, she said New York was a party. Boston's where you want to go to have a fun time and a fast run. And she like tried to figure out an answer for Chicago. It's
yeah,
just an
Chicago,
ongoing thing we
yeah, I
have.
can't really like figure out where Chicago fits into it, quite frankly, because it's like a little bit, I feel like half the people are there to PR and half the people are there for vibes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But they
We-
deliver for vibes too. Like that's
Yeah, they do.
I
They
just
do.
love in the first like half mile. Now they do a DJ underneath the street, so it just echoes and I'm like half a mile into this thing and I'm already vibing. Like it sets you up so great for the rest of the race.
It does. Absolutely.
we've been lucky this past year to do a few live podcasts from other races here in New Hampshire and New England, but more recently the Boston Marathon. And I said, like, now we want to go to New York and do live shows from the NYR races. And then I go, I really hope Chicago hasn't heard any of the crap I say about it all the time, because I want to go there too. So
hey, they got me defending him.
At some point, I got to stop giving Erica a hard time about her Chicago, her love for Chicago, because she's run it 5 times. She's like locked in every race.
And I'm going back this year. I got the legacy status. That's what I was working toward.
That's awesome. I was supposed to run it last year, and again, I was injured for the entire fall, which is a kind of a bummer. I was going to take my son and have a whole thing. So I deferred to this year. So hopefully, knock on wood, we'll be healthy enough to see you out there.
Yes, I hope so. I really do.
So I mentioned Boston a couple of times. I also mentioned you bonked in Boston.
Oh,
I saw some pictures.
Epic bonk.
Yeah. So one thing we like to do on this podcast is, as Erica said earlier, the ups and the downs and the code browns. Bonking's a code brown.
Yeah.
Spare no details on the 2024 Boston Marathon.
Okay, I got to give like a little bit backstory. So I worked every single person. I was a pretty newish marathoner at that point, and I was like really lucky that in my first marathon, I qualified for Boston. Like, I guess because I'm old. So like, you get a little
You still
extra.
got to run fast for that. You do.
Thank you. But anyway, that goes to show that I just like didn't really have the experience. I didn't really have the marathoner experience to like go into Boston in an intelligent way. So everyone warned me. They're like, do not go out hot on those first downhill miles. There's no pacers. Like, you have to pace yourself. Like, every single person gave me the same wise advice. And I PR'd my half marathon, like inside the Boston Marathon. Like, I went out like I was on fire. Like, I just flew out of the gate. And it was a fluke, very hot year also. It didn't like start off that hot, but because I was in like one of the later start times, like, I don't start till like almost 11 a.m. And then you hit the Newton Hills in peak sun. And by that point, it was like, feels like 80 degrees out. Ooh. And I remember like, it was like the feeling of seeing a train wreck in real time, but like I was the train wreck. Oh, no. And I remember seeing my husband on the side cheering for me around mile 12 or 13. And I was like, my heart rate's a 205. Like, I literally said that to him.
It's like, not high at all.
I was like, bye, and just kept going. Okay. So also, just to put in perspective, I run like about like an 8-minute mile for the marathon. Like that's what I do. I'm happy with it. I think I was running like 7-minute miles for like, I had no business running at that pace. And like the wheels just started coming off the bus real quick. Like mile 17, I like thought I was going to die. I don't know how I was still running. And then at mile 23, I hear, hey, Randi. And it's our friend, Josh, our mutual friend. I had actually never met him in person. We were like Instagram friends. And he had invited me on Instagram to be part of a relay Ironman team that he was doing. And I don't know like why I said yes to a random person on Instagram to be on like a relay team, but I did. And so, like, I hear him at mile 23 and he's like, Randi, it's me. And I like went over to high five him, and then I just hit the ground and like projectile vomited it like all over his feet, like all over, like literally just like full like The Exorcist. Oh, no. And of course, to my luck, that was like right in front of a course photographer. So every photo that I have from that Boston Marathon is me just like full vomit, like coming out of like vomit triangle. No. And like, so the medics came over to me to try to pull me off the course. And I started screaming, no, I need to be a douchebag with a Boston jacket. Like, I just started doing that. And like, and then I got up and I ran at what I thought was a sprint, but was like a 17-minute mile. And I somehow finished the race. And as I took off, I was like, Josh, you can fire me from your Ironman team. And just like took off and somehow made it to the finish line. It was my slowest marathon to date that I've ever run. But now I like look back on that medal and I laugh so hard because like that's actually like the vomit photo that I have from that is like truly like one of I feel like my most epic race photos. So yeah, I learned, let's just say like I learned a lot about myself in marathoning that day.
Oh,
That's
Randy.
it's a great photo. I got it earlier from Josh. If you don't mind, I'm going to put it on the YouTube
Oh,
feed
100%,
too.
100%.
It's a fantastic photo, and I must have missed the part when you threw up on his feet.
It's, oh my gosh. And he and the other spectators were so kind to me. Like they had like a hand on my back. People were giving me ice pops. Like they were so nice. That must have been so disgusting to have a runner just run up and just like full vomit like all over the floor. But it, you know, I guess they got like the real marathon experience, those
Especially the
people.
first time
For
ever
real.
meeting him. It's like, oh, hi, I'm Randy. I'm Josh.
Literally, that was our first ever meeting, was like, let me puke on your feet.
But look at you now. Like that did
Yes.
not deter him from being your friend.
And so I texted him that night and I'm like, no, I'm not kidding. Like you can fire me from your Ironman team. And he's like, hell no. He's like, that's exactly the kind of person I want. The kind of person who's going to like vomit and then pick themselves off the
Puke
ground.
and
And
rally.
yeah. And, but it actually taught me a lot of lessons because, I kind of learned that like you can bonk and like then unbonk and I feel like I've called on that in a lot of ultras. And like now, if I get sick in a race, I don't panic. I don't like, feel like I have data points now to be like, okay, well, I survived that. I can survive it again.
Yeah.
So I feel like that marathon actually, like sometimes you learn the most from those awful experiences.
Yep, that's
something I
knowledge that you
wrote-
can apply to a total other handful of races and stuff, especially doing some awesome shit.
Also, when you met him, so I met Josh at 6 in the morning, not 6, like 5:15 in the morning in New York City before a Peloton ride once. And I was shocked how tall he was.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, wow,
Huge.
I'm looking up. He's so much taller than I thought. But he told me that 2024 bonking in Boston kind of taught you things about how to train and maybe fuel differently.
Absolutely. I mean, so much so. Like, first of all, it really taught me to like respect a course and to have a race strategy. I mean, that was really only like my, I think, third or fourth marathon that I'd done when I did Boston. So I just didn't really know how to run in heat, how to train, how to have like a strategy around a course. My strategy to date had just been like go out hot and hang on for dear life was like kind of my race strategy. And I feel I've evolved as a runner since then. But I think, you know, it also like really taught me that you can problem solve and overcome bad situations inside a race. And that for sure is something that I've called on a lot, especially as I dove into longer and longer ultra marathons.
I'm really excited to hear about these ultra marathons. You have a very impressive ultra sign up page.
Thank you. It's maybe crazy, maybe lunatic.
No, not at all.
Erica is the ultra runner out of the bunch. And I know this, at some point, you got yourself a necklace that said 250.
I did. I'm wearing it.
Oh,
Let's see. I can find it for you.
to match the beautiful t-shirt.
Yes. So there's my 250. And yeah, I thought I was like, I thought maybe I wanted to get a tattoo, and no shade against tattoos. They're gorgeous. I love them. But then I decided on diamonds instead.
Yeah.
More
Wait,
bling.
so when did you get the necklace then?
I got it after my first Cocodona finish.
Okay.
So
I
after the
thought
first one, and she's actually, the jeweler is actually upgrading this necklace now to say 250 times 2.
No way.
That's so cool.
Yes. So hold on, let's backtrack. Little Wayne's World here. Go back in time. When did ultra running enter the picture?
First of all, I didn't even know that ultra marathon was a word until like 2 years ago. It was not even a sport that was on my radar. I thought that running ended at the marathon distance. Like I didn't even know you could run longer. And then I had a friend who asked me if I would run the perimeter of Manhattan with him.
Ooh.
And the perimeter of Manhattan is about 32 miles around. And so this was in fall of 2023. And at around mile 25, he was like on death's doorstep. And I like suddenly felt amazing. Like I just suddenly felt great. I sped up. Like I was so happy. And he was like, "You're an ultra runner." And I was like, "I don't even know what that means. Like, I'm sorry. I don't know. Like, I don't know what are you talking about?" And so he and one other friend, my friend Bethany, convinced me to sign up for a 50-mile race. They pitched it in a way that like made sense, but now that I say it out loud, it doesn't make much sense. They're like, "Well, you're running the New York City Marathon anyway. It's 2 weeks after that. So like the New York City Marathon is basically like your final long run." So like, great. And like, I feel like I guess I am an ultra runner because that logic like made sense to me back then, even though I didn't know that that was a sport. And we were a few weeks out from it. Bethany was going to run it with me, and she calls me and she's like, "Hey, I just found out I'm pregnant, so I can't run this
Oh.
race anymore." She's like, "But I'll come out and pace you for whatever I can."
Mhm.
And so I ended up showing up alone at this 50-mile race that they had convinced me to sign up for. And I ended up coming in second place female. And it was that was like just the right amount of validation that I needed early in the journey to like get hooked, you know, like
Excellent.
because it was like a tiny race. There was not a lot of people in it, but like something in my mind was like, "Oh, you're good enough at this to like keep going." And I feel like it was like just the perfect validation to get early on. And so, yeah, I think I very quickly, my next race I think I signed up for was the Loopy Looper. And somewhere in there, a friend sent me the live stream link to Cocodona, which we were all like glued to in 2024. And she was like, "You are the only person I know who's like crazy enough to actually sign up for this race." And I remember I had the browser open for days and I would like get so close to clicking register and then I'd chicken out. I'd be like, "What am I doing? I've done 150-mile race. Like what's wrong with me?" And then I saw that it was like selling out. And so I just like went for it. I think
Doing it. I'm doing
I
it.
had a few drinks. I had a few drinks and I
Oh,
just
that
signed
helps.
up for Cocodona. And I didn't tell anyone for days because I was like, "What have I done?" Like I
Buyer's remorse.
I've done 150-mile race. I have no data points to at all reinforce that I can make it 250 miles. But I don't know. I just have this like irrational confidence in myself, and
Sometimes
um,
you just gotta jump
yeah,
in. Why
yeah.
not?
So that's how I signed up for Cocodona 2025 on absolutely no data that I should do that.
Do you remember the reaction you got when you told your husband or your parents or anyone? Like, I wish you recorded it. You ever do those where you record something after like this big news? Like, "I'm gonna run a 250-mile race," and they're like,
Yeah,
"You're crazy."
I should have done that because my husband he just like silently walked out of the room.
Oh no. Not what you were hoping
Like
for.
one of those just like silent like side shuffles out of the room.
Out of
Like, just,
frame.
like I have no idea what to do. But I will say, on the contrary, I called two friends and I was like, "Okay, they're both going to tell me that I'm totally crazy." But I called them, and not only did they not say I was crazy, but they were like, "Can we be on your crew?" And I that was a really cool moment because here I kind of thought I was alone in the world, like irrationally believing in myself.
Mhm.
And those two friends, my first two phone calls, both said not only how excited they were, but that they wanted to be part of it. I was like, all right, if these people believe in me enough to like want to give up a week of their life to support me, then like maybe I can believe in myself.
Who
There
are
we
these
go.
friends?
I know.
They
Um,
sound
Keep them.
awesome.
Keep them
They are
forever.
probably super regretting the day that they met me. One of my friend, Mary Claire, she is the one who sent me the link in the first place. And she has now been my crew chief on like 4 ultra marathons and counting. She has been with me for both Cocodonas. And then my other call was to my PT, who I had started seeing for a hamstring issue a few months before, and like had started roping him into pacing me at things. And now he has been by my side for like probably over a dozen races.
Mhm. Guaranteed they are loving all of this that you're doing. They just love being a part of it, because I would feel that way. Like, if I think I'm the crazy one out of my friend group, but I feel like I would want to be a part of that, just to support you through whatever you're
I mean,
going through.
also for Joe as a PT, it's like huge job security for him that I keep doing these things,
I
you
mean,
know?
there's that too, right?
He's like, yes, please run 250 miles. He's like, I will
Do that
feed my
every
family
year.
for years. Yeah.
Job
He's like, I
security.
don't need any other clients if you're going to do that. So, yeah.
That's great. But I mean, if Mary was the one who sent you the Cocodona thing in the first place, she is on board 100%. She will be there, even if even if you don't
Totally.
have to ask. Like, she's just gonna jump in.
Totally. And she has just, I mean, she has been by my side through this whole journey. And like, even I know we'll talk about Cocodona later, but like, I got to the summit of Mount Eldon, which you hit it literally like mile 245. Like, at the very end, you summit this mountain in Flagstaff. And I just remember like, I called her on the phone and like, I was crying and I was like, hey, crew chief, I made it, and like, it just like brought me right back to that, like her sending me that link and like us just like laughing about what would I do this, and then here I was like summiting Eldon and calling her and it happening, and that was a cool moment.
Full circle.
That's
Yeah.
awesome. Let's not wait. Let's talk about it now. You've run the Cocodona 250 the last 2 years, and this year you had a 10-hour PR. So I think you
That's
already understood
huge.
the assignment of spare no details. Let's start with year 1. How
Yeah.
did year 1 go?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, how stupid is that you can have a 10-hour PR and still be running for 4 days? Like that's a long race. Okay, that is just stupid. But okay, so year 1, I feel like was like the year of just like raw dogging it, like if we could call it that, because like I I had no idea what I was doing. My friends who were crewing me had no idea what we were doing. Like we all live in New York City.
So
I think
hold on,
like,
Randy. Before you jumped into the 250, I know you had only done the 50 miler. Had you squeezed in any other races before that to try to get into the longer ultra shape, or did you
yeah,
just
I
say
did.
fuck it and 250 it is?
I did the loopy looper
Mhm.
that summer. In August, I did the 24-hour version of
Okay,
it, and I
yeah.
think I made it about 80 miles in the 24 hours,
Mhm.
and so that was like my longest run that I had done when I went into Cocodona.
Okay.
80 miles in 24 hours at the loopy looper, and
It's another data point for you, though.
yes. And then I did a few months before I ran Black Canyon. And I did on back-to-back days, I did a 100K and then a 50K on the second
Okay.
day to kind of simulate. But I mean, I live in the middle of New York City. I really don't get out on trails at all. I think I put on a hydration vest for the first time like a few months before the race.
Mhm.
I was, weeks before the race, I was learning how to navigate a GPX file on a watch. I didn't know how to do that. I used hiking poles for the first time like 2 weeks before the race. So that's why I say it was like the year of like raw dogging it, because I had a list of skills that I needed to develop that I didn't have. And I was kind of like against the clock to try to develop those skills. And my friends, they were not familiar with the course either. So we were kind of just figuring it out together. And I think I think we did a really good job for a first year team figuring it out together, because I ran it in about 113 hours, which was still 12 hours ahead of the cutoff.
Okay.
And
you got to finish. That is huge.
I got to finish. I did have terrible shin splints at starting around mile 170 or 180. I thought I had a broken ankle. It was so painful.
Oh no.
And I still like hobbled my way for 70 more miles through to the end.
Wow.
So like I felt really proud of year one. But then like with year two,
this your crew right here?
yes, that's my crew from year one. That's us buying, I think, like every Gatorade and Powerade that they had in the entire supermarket. I don't know why we did that. Like there are aid stations out on the course. I think I was just panicking.
So you had Joe, Mary Claire, Bethany, Ben, and Marco?
Yes, exactly. And every single one of those beautiful humans came back for year two, which was super cool. So it meant that, like, I guess they had a decent enough time with me out there that they to run it back.
They kept you alive out there.
They did.
They did a good job.
Was this the first time the 4 or the 5 of you have like worked together as a crew?
Yes, that was the first time. It was like, yeah, I mean, everyone had kind of met a little bit, but it was really the first time that we were all thrust together as a team.
And everyone was really kind of like friends with you. They knew you one way or the other. One was your PT, one was your friend to just say, go for it, craziness, maybe running partners. Like,
yep. Yeah, my friend Ben, who paced me, was like a road marathoner that I ran with a lot. And we kind of were all, the unifying bond was they were like, we love Randi and we want her to accomplish her dream. And that was what kind of bonded us together in year one. It got dark at the end when I got injured. I think I cried for the entire final 2 days of the race, like just crying. Like I would be like behind my pacer, just whimpering like a sad puppy, like just in pain. But there was no quit in me. Like there was not, it never once crossed my mind that I wasn't going to get to that.
I am so proud of you for that, because that kind of pain and being awake for that long, just that much stress on your body, like you get in a dark place, like, and the fact that like quitting did not even come to terms. I'm so proud of you. This
is awesome, because we saw the picture at the grocery store and now here's everyone at the finish line.
Yeah, and that was a really special moment. That's Joe, my PT, and that's Ben, who came back as my lead pacer this year, and Mary Claire.
The cactus headband.
Yes, I mean, so that's Bethany, who was pregnant and couldn't do the 50 miler with me, but now has paced me through 2 Cocodonas.
There we
go.
So
I feel like. We've been on kind of a life journey together, a lot of us, which is really nice.
Now, did your parents show up to the finish line? Because you said they've been at many finish lines. Were they here?
My parents were there, and like my mom got the first hug after I crossed through the finish line, and that was really special to see her, because I feel like you just get stripped raw to your core when you're doing these long distances. And I literally had a moment that first year that all I could think about was, I want my mommy. Like that was literally all I could think. Like I was out on the course, I was doing a solo, like 14-mile section. And literally the only thought in my mind was, I want my mommy. Like I was like a toddler who like wanted the comfort of mom. And like, I
I feel
called her
that.
from the course, and I was just like, Mom, I just want to hear your voice. Because you just, yeah, it just like cuts you down to like the core of your soul. And so that's been really special for me to have her at both finish
Mhm.
lines.
That must be so cool. Like just to see they've seen you do all those marathons from the one at 22 years old in Chicago to today, like the progression of time and the craziness we all have, or I should say the two of you have to do these ultras. Um, it's so cool. So that was year one.
That was year one. And just like Boston, after having like the bonk at Boston, like I crossed that finish line. I was like, I have unfinished business with this course, right? Like I'm going to return to this course. So I kind of felt that way with Cocodona too. I was like, okay, I'm really proud of this finish, but now that I know what's going on out there, I think I could do a lot better. And so all I could think about was like mastery of the course. It was all I could think about. So within a week of crossing the finish line, I registered again for 2026 Cocodona.
Well, you
And
got to get the early bird deal too.
exactly. And
Yeah.
I told the team, and everyone was like, all right, well, if you're doing it, we're doing it. Like we're all running it back together. And I think one of the coolest things for me to see was like as I was up leveling myself as an athlete, like my crew also was super up leveling themselves because they came in familiar with the course, understanding now how to crew someone through a multi-day. So like
Mhm.
they like it, I felt proud seeing them like up level and take it so much more seriously themselves. And we made so many little tweaks this year. So I went into this year and I was like, I think I could come close to 100 hours. Like, I think that's my goal. I think I can do it.
Well, hold on one second. Did your husband walk away again?
Yeah. So first of all, the first year, he like Jamil, who's the founder of Aravipa, like came over to congratulate me at the finish line, and my husband like wouldn't even shake his hand. He just turned around because
Oh.
he's like, like you're responsible for my wife like almost dying and me never seeing her for a year. Like he like literally wouldn't even shake his hand. This year he gave him a hug. So I
There
feel
we
like
go.
big emotional progression in showing like how my husband has come around to this lunacy. And he's like, okay, I've like accepted that this is like
Yeah.
what we're doing.
I like
Uh,
that. Nice turnaround. And while you
Not
share the story,
Jamil's
I'm going to cycle
fault.
through the photos again.
He just puts on the
totally.
show.
Yeah. The other week before I went out to Cocodona the second time, I like turned to my husband. I was like, I am so sorry about this midlife crisis I'm in. Like, I'm like so sorry about it. And he's like, you know what? I'll hand it to you. You have full committed. Like you went full send on this midlife crisis. He's like, most people like don't commit that much to anything. So at least you like went all in on it.
Well, that's how you know it's not a midlife crisis. It's a passion when you're just like, yes, this is what I like to do. I'm going to keep doing it. Sorry if people think I'm
Totally.
weird.
Yeah, totally. So yeah, year two, I feel like I approached it so differently. Year one, I was like a mom with something to prove, right? I was
Mhm.
like, I just want to prove that I can get to that finish line. And I feel like year two, I really like came in as an athlete, and that felt kind of cool. Like I was like, I feel like I like deserve to be on the start line. I feel like I know what I'm doing. I feel calm and knowledgeable about the course, and that was it was really neat because year one I didn't even know if I could get to the finish line, but to show up year two with the data points already in my head, like
Mhm.
you're a Cocodona finisher, it kind of like took the doubt out of my brain and let me be able to just focus on executing.
There we go. Yeah, you went to the start line this time as a veteran. Like you had the skill, you had a whole plan behind you. So
Yep.
after the first one, how long did it take you to get your injury resolved, and what else did you do in between to lead up to Cocodona the second time?
Yeah, it took me probably a few weeks after to really feel like myself again.
Hmm.
The weirdest thing I remember it was the brain fog.
Oh.
I had to go get an X-ray to make sure it wasn't actually a stress fracture in my
Yeah.
ankle, and I couldn't fill out the paperwork with, like, basic questions about my name and my birthday. Like, I had to, like, call my husband and ask him, like, what my birthday was,
I feel
and
like that's something we don't talk about enough. Like, yes, you can get some physical injuries, but the amount, like the tiredness that takes a toll on your
yes.
body, it takes a long time to get over.
Yeah, and then the other thing I remember that happened to me that year that also happened to me this year
Mhm.
is I would wake up multiple times in the middle of the night, like, thinking that I had to get up and run.
Oh.
Um, and that it was almost like a trauma, like a
Oh,
PTSD trauma
no.
response. Like, I would, like, for about 5 or 6 nights after the race ended, I would sit up, just bolt upright multiple times at night, thinking, like, "I don't wanna run." And then, and my husband would be like, "Hey, so you're done with the race. You're in your bed. Like, no one's making you
You're
run."
safe now.
Yeah, but it's
Oh.
wild how being that sleep deprived and pushing your body actually registers as a trauma response
Mm.
in your body. And that was something that I was not prepared for on year one. I was more prepared. I knew it would happen this year, so I was more prepared for it. But that really surprised me
Mhm.
after year one.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask actually about sleeping. Like we just a friend of ours just did the Arizona Monster 300 and sleeping, it's a big deal. Like
Mhm.
how much sleep did you get? Did you sleep on the ground? Were you able to sleep in the van? What was the
Mm.
sleeping game plan versus year 1? Like what did you learn from year 1 to year 2 because 10-hour PR, I mean,
Yeah.
did you just not sleep as much or what do you
Yeah, so
do?
I sleep was a big area we cut down on to save time. I don't think I overslept on year one, but I started sleeping too early in the race.
Oh.
So year one, I took like a pretty long sleep at mile 76, which is called Whiskey Row. It's the first time that you can see your crew. You have to go the first 76 alone. And so I took a 2-hour sleep at Whiskey Row because I had gone for like 27 hours at that
Mhm.
point. This year, I decided that I was not going to even attempt to sleep until mile 96. Like, I
Okay.
was just going to power through to 96. And what I would do at that point is I would lie down, and if I couldn't immediately fall asleep, I was going to get up and power on. And so I didn't actually sleep this time around until the halfway point at mile 125.
Wow.
And then at that point, I slept for 90 minutes and then went back out. So, by that point, I had already saved hours on the
Yeah.
race of, like, just cutting down on sleep, and I was going faster than year one. So I think by the halfway point of the race, I was already like 5 or 6 hours
There we
ahead of my
go.
time. So that made a huge difference. Now, it did mean that the lack of sleep, I knew it was going to catch up to me sooner because I had been pushing. But I just really wanted to try to get as many miles as I could get in by day 3 because I know that that's the day that the sleep deprivation really kicks
Ah.
in. So I was like, can I just really push on days 1 and 2 so that when it kicks in, I'm like past the halfway point of the race. So that I think was a big strategic difference that I made from year 1 to 2. I did sleep in the dirt this year for the first time. I
Dirt
didn't do that
nap.
last year. I was too like nervous last year. This year, like, I really got tired on day 4 and I took a 5-minute dirt nap. I got up, I felt great. I then tried again to sleep on the concrete of,
Oof.
like, a concrete section, and Bethany, who was pacing me, she was like, I cannot actually let you lie down on concrete. And I was like, I bet I can. I bet I can do it. Like, like, do you want to watch me? I bet I can sleep on concrete right now. We're at mile 230. And she's like, no, I'm under strict orders to deliver you to the van. Like, shut up and keep going. Like, we are not lying down on concrete. So I tried really hard, but yeah, one dirt nap this year.
Well, I'm sure once you made it to that next point, you got to at least lay down or sit in a chair or do something a little more comfortable
Did.
than
So
concrete.
that was the final pacer section,
Mhm.
before I hit the very end of the race. So this year, new special fun, the final Mount Eldon mountain climb, which is the final 20 miles of the race, was pacerless this year.
Oh.
So you get to mile 230 and you summit this like gigantic mountain that has snow on the top, and you have to do it totally alone.
Oh boy.
And so the wheels were coming off the bus hot by then, because now I'm on night 4 going into day 5,
Yep.
and just completely exhausted, like literally begging to sleep on concrete. And my team, we kind of had to make a strategic decision because they didn't want me climbing or descending the mountain in dark.
Mhm.
So we had to like really be a little strategic. So they did let me sleep right before that section. I took a 2-hour sleep, which was my longest sleep by far of the course. I think I had
You'll hit
about
REM cycle a couple times there.
That's what I was thinking.
Oh, it was like I woke up, I felt amazing. I felt like I slept for 12 hours. And because of that, I was able to get right out at sunrise. And then I was able to kind of get off the mountain by the time peak heat was starting.
Right.
So that was like a really good strategic move. I think that Bethany dragged me to the van and didn't let me sleep on the concrete. And then I was able to take like a pretty good, significant rest before the end. So
Mhm.
I think, we tried to have as good a strategy as we could. Of course, I look back on the race and I'm like, oh, I could have saved 10 minutes here and 10 there. But like, I really think I delivered like almost to the best of my ability this
Mhm.
year.
10-hour PR. That is huge.
It felt really awesome. And I did get to do almost every section in the reverse time of day as the year before,
Oh,
because it
yeah.
Okay. That's a different experience.
yeah, I got like almost a totally new experience for the race.
Mm. So I saw a post from you that said because you were so much faster this year that it was kind of a little bit lonelier on the course because it was just not coinciding with where like the front of the pack was way ahead. You were faster than the middle of the pack. So how did that impact your race?
Yeah, it was pretty wild because last year when I ran it in 113 hours, I was like right smack in the middle pack of the
Mhm.
race with like a ton of runners. So even the sections that I was alone, I was never alone. Like I was always surrounded by people. I made friends. I talked to people. Like I have people that I'm still in touch with. And I felt like, in sections where I needed a little motivation, I always saw like 15 people in front of me that I could like try to pick off, or
Right, right.
things like that. This year I was literally alone from like hour 3 of
Oh,
the
wow.
course. Like literally just totally by myself for like 103 hours, because the front pack took off. I was not fast enough to keep up with them, but my fitness had improved, so I was ahead of that middle pack that I ran with the year before.
Mhm.
And there would be stretches that I was alone for 7 hours,
That's
and
so
I
crazy.
I would forget that I was in a race, because I would think that I was like just taking myself on a long trail run. And I would start to say things like, okay, like Randy, when you get in the race, you should do this differently. And then I'd be like, no, wait, you are in the race. You just don't see any other humans. So at one point, when I got super delirious at like mile 200, I made up a whole backstory about why I was seeing nobody. So I was like, there's only two possible conclusions. Conclusion one is that everyone is Ubering to every
Yeah.
aid station, and I'm the only one stupid enough to actually be running. I was like, so that's conclusion one. I was like, conclusion two is that fire roads make people invisible. And I was like, I'm actually surrounded by other runners
There's
right
some
now.
sorcery going on here.
This road is packed, but like the fire road is making everyone invisible. And I spent like hours concocting this backstory about like the fire roads and the invisibility powers of them. And like I came into the crew station hot, I was so excited to tell my crew about this. And they're just like, oh, sure. I mean, like, why don't we lie down? Like no
Nap
one's
time.
like, you're super not invisible. Like we like there's
Randy,
like
where'd you go?
so anyway, though, I spent like hours coming up with that whole backstory.
I'm gonna go through photos again like last time, and you can just briefly talk about. I'm gonna try to go in order of the race. So I think this is day one. This is
Yes,
maybe
this
one
is
of those
day
times you came into the aid station here.
You're
Yeah, so
smiling.
I was coming into Crown King and I was super happy because that first 37 miles of the race is grueling. It is straight uphill. I mean, like just for context, like the entire Boston Marathon has about 700 feet of elevation, and this had that almost like per every mile.
Oh,
Had like every mile of that climb has like 400 to 700 feet of
Wow.
that's
elevation,
rough.
and there's no shade cover, so you're just like baking in the sun and just like a grueling. It took me 10 hours to get to
Mhm.
Crown King. So yeah, that's why you're seeing the biggest stupid smile, because I was like, I survived the climb, and I was like, I see my friends, and I think there was like a barbecue chicken sandwich in my future
Ooh.
there. So so I was like super happy about that.
There's the
Um,
sandwich. What were some of the foods that worked for you, or that
yeah,
don't work for you?
it's interesting. So like I um I started, I mean, the fueling was really good the first 2 days, and then just like everything just went to shit at the
Oh.
end. Especially by day 3, you've climbed to pretty high altitude at Sedona. So
Mhm.
I was getting altitude sickness on top of being exhausted.
Oh.
So I was able to put down some good food when I got to the aid stations and stopped. But when I was running, it was like liquid calories only. Like I drank a
Mhm.
lot of juice and like Coca-Cola, like whatever I could get down in liquid was basically it
Yep.
while I
Mhm.
was
Some
moving
kind
on
of
the coast.
sugar, anything to just kind of give you a little boost. I
Yeah,
get
I was
that.
able to yeah, I was able to do like maybe like those applesauce pouches and things
Mm,
like that, but
yeah.
that was about it. But I think, the other thing that made me happy is after you leave Crown King, you have 40 solo miles until you can hit your crew again. So that meant I had
Oh.
to run through the whole night by myself.
Mhm.
And I was happy because I made it to Crown King with enough time that I knew I would make it to the next aid station still in daylight. So that was like
Okay.
a huge thing because I was already in nighttime the year before when I did it. So
Yep.
that was a big boost. Um,
That's cool that you had the experiences to kind of gauge it by. Like you'll be like, I already know that I'm doing so much better this year because of this. Like that's a huge
yeah, so
mental
it's like
boost.
yeah, so it like really reinforced it. And my 15-year-old son actually FaceTimed me during that first night that I was
Mhm.
alone, and he was like, "Mom, I'm doing my homework, so we don't have to talk." He's like, "But I don't really love that you're like out in the woods by yourself at night, so I'd love to just like be on the phone with you."
Yeah.
Mhm.
And that was super sweet. And then finally I was like, "Hey Ash, like I see 2 other runners ahead of me, so I'm just gonna like lock in with them." And then
Mhm.
he felt like he could let me go and he could go to bed.
That's so
Um,
sweet.
it was super, super sweet. So I did ultimately find some other runners to like just sync up with that
Good.
first night, which was nice. Because other I had like 7 lights on my body and I was just singing at the top of my lungs like, "Animals, don't mind me. Like, I'm not delicious." Like,
Did you ever
just
have any crazy like encounter with anything while you were out there?
the first year I did, I came on a whole pack of javelina, of the wild
Oh,
boar,
no
by
way.
myself, and those are aggressive animals.
Mm.
They didn't mind me, but that was pretty scary to
Yeah.
see. And a bobcat crossed my path actually in the middle of the night on
Oh,
year 1.
wow.
So, but I did not have any scary animal encounters this year,
Good, good.
thankfully. I saw a scorpion. That was kind of cool.
Ooh.
I was like, that felt like a desert thing to
Yeah.
see. And I saw tiny black snake, not a rattler.
That brings me back to like sleeping on the dirt. I couldn't do it because of the snakes and scorpions.
Yeah, I could only take a dirt nap if my pacer was like a hawk, like watching
you.
over me to make sure like nothing was crawling on me.
Yeah. That's my anxiety. I would wake up thinking like every little thing I feel like
Crawling
is
on
walking
you.
on me, I'd be like, right,
Yes.
I couldn't do it. It looked like on one of the photos you wrote on your hand right here, it said move spot tracker. Was that your
Oh,
hand?
that was Mary Claire's hand, and it's because so we switched vests for the climb. I used like this awesome Ultra Spire vest that I swear like you could survive in the wilderness for months of like what you could fit in that vest. But it has a little. They actually, I think they made it for Cocodona, that vest, and it has a little zip pocket that fits the spot tracker. And
Oh, so you had to
so
put it in
yeah,
with
you had to
another
put it in.
vest.
So I was worried that when we switched vests, like we were going to forget that the spot tracker was like zipped into that little compartment. So
Yeah.
I asked Mary Claire like 18 times if she was going to remember. And then she's like, fine, do you want to watch me like write it on my hand? Like, will that make
I
you
do.
feel better? But we did not forget the spot tracker. So it worked.
I saw a pair of your Mount to Coast shoes. How
The
many
H1s.
Yeah,
Yes.
how many pairs did you go through?
Okay, I went through about 7 pairs of shoes. I had 3 different sizes because that was another learning that I had from the year before, that as the race went, my
swelling?
feet swelled up, and I wished that I had bigger size shoes. So I wear a 7.5. I had the T1, the trail, and the H1 in 7.5, 8, and 8.5.
Smart.
And then I also got to test out their prototype M1, their mountain shoe, which is like a cushiony trail shoe. And I wore that one on the climb on day 1.
Awesome.
So, which was cool. So I had 7 pairs of Mount to Coast shoes out there. And I think I wore every single one of them at some point in the race. Yeah, they were awesome. I mean, unfortunately, no shoe can save your feet from being completely mangled over that distance.
Understandable.
But my feet didn't get mangled until about like mile 200. So I think that is like a huge win for the shoe to make it to mile 200.
Absolutely.
At mile 200, though, I think I did have like 10 blood blisters that needed to be popped and treated. And by that point, I had lost control of my emotions or my mental state. So I was just crying, like, and because my PT popped them and then put like alcohol wipes to clean them. And it stung so much. I was just like sobbing.
Yeah, that had to hurt. Oh my God.
Yeah.
We just talked to a foot expert a week or 2 ago, and we're like, all right, Erica does these ultras. Her feet get destroyed. What should she do? It just seems like every option is just terrible.
Like you could take your toes all you want, but it's still gonna get messed up.
I mean, honestly, I feel like I missed my opportunity to start a foot OnlyFans because
we're trying to get Erica to do it. You two could team up here.
We could team up. So I didn't realize that this is a thing that could happen. So I like smashed both my big toenails descending a mountain on loose rocks. So I smashed, so the toenails like cracked, and then they got blisters underneath them. I didn't know that could happen. And
I'm familiar with that.
And then those blisters got infected. So that was a thing that happened like over the course of the race. And so like that was excruciatingly painful. So that it started as like a future us problem. Like we were like, that'll be a future us problem. And then it became a very like immediate problem.
At that point, did you have to get the medics to look at it, or was that still a thing your crew could handle?
Luckily, like Joe has a lot of experience with wound care. And so he was able to deal with it. But that was, I mean, it was taking us longer and longer at each aid station to deal with the sorry state that my feet were in. And it took me almost a week after the race to be able to put my feet back into sneakers again.
Oh my God. That's one thing a lot of people don't realize is like your feet swell up so much. Like I had the proverbial like cankles after doing like my first 100-miler and stuff. And it took days for them to even look normal again. So just the toll that a 250-miler takes on them.
Yeah,
incredible.
it is pretty wild. Like, yeah, the swelling and like all, all the things that no one tells you that happens to your body after that distance.
The finish line, the vibes looked incredible. I was watching the live stream for like 2 or 3 days. I'd put it on when I was working. I would be on the couch working and I would have it on the TV. And besides some spotty, Wi-Fi from time to time, it just looked like the finish line was so much fun. What were the vibes like? I mean, Rachel just crushed it. I know you finished a little behind her, not that much. And then we had friends there that we saw, like our friend Callie was in the last 90 minutes, I think, and she was running with Andy at one point, and just seemed like the vibes at the finish line were epic.
They were absolutely epic. And it's funny, my son called me on the course when Rachel finished and he was like, "Mom, like Rachel's winning it all. She's winning the whole thing." And that was that was so cool because I was like, wow, for a 15-year-old boy to feel that excited about a woman winning the whole thing is so cool. But then my next thought, I was like, I still have 100 miles to go this race. Rachel is finishing.
She
And I
is a superhuman. I
was like,
still mind blown.
I was like, I literally have 100 miles left. So it was simultaneously amazing and horrifying at the same time. But yeah, the finish line was so great. And I would say that for me, like the glory and the joy started from the top of Eldon, like down the mountain and then through those final miles. So I feel like the final like 10 miles were like kind of all leading to the finish line. The first thing is that like there was the drone from the live stream was like following me all the way down Eldon. So I knew that like my friends and my family at home were watching me descend the mountain. And I feel like that was pretty cool and gave me like a lot of superpower. Although I had to pee really bad. And I was like, can this drone like go away for 2 seconds so I don't have to like pee my pants because like I can't, I'm not like pull over with like a drone right there. But and then the final 4 miles kind of takes you through a park and then through downtown Flagstaff. And I remember there were all these families lined up in the park with like little girls.
Oh.
And they were just like, can my daughters high five you? We just want them to see like that a woman can do this distance. Yes. And I high fived so many little girls in that park. And that like it almost made me emotional because I was like I wish when I was 8 or 10 years old that like I had seen a woman at like mile 249 finishing a race. And like maybe that would have changed my perspective of what I thought was possible for me to see that with my own eyes.
Right.
And so that gave me so much pep in my step at the end. And then your team can run in the final 2 miles with you. And they were all in these sparkly tutus. And they're like, come on, Randi, like put your tutu on. And we all ran it in together. And I also just remember feeling at that moment, I was like, I don't have shin splints. Like I feel so good at the end of this race. Like I'm in Flagstaff and I'm running. I am not limping into the finish. Like I'm finishing strong. And that was kind of like my only dream for year 2 was to like finish strong. And it was truly so cool. Like I couldn't have asked for a better finish.
We got some finish line photos here. And I kind of think you and Erica are almost a match made in heaven. You got the unicorn socks
skirt.
on.
I'm telling you.
Sparkle skirt, the Mount to Coast shoes, the desire to do these incredible ultra races. And Erica's going for the buckles now too. She's got how many now? 7?
That's awesome,
7.
Erica.
Not a big deal.
It's either 7 or 8. 7. I think it's 7.
That's
she's got the cloudy memory that you mentioned earlier. She can't.
Yeah, I think I only have 4. I have 4 of them. So you're way ahead of me.
Well, 2 of yours add up to 500 miles. So you got me there.
So this is the finish line. I love that you kind of get your moment. It felt like almost everyone got their moment to be celebrated. Yeah. Not just like running by the finish line with a bunch of others. every finisher was like their own moment. It was so cool. You're
It
here
was.
hugging,
That's my
some.
mom. Yeah, that's my
Oh,
Yeah.
mom. Yeah, she was right there at the finish line.
Look, she
And
even has the sparkles real quick around the eyes. And
yeah,
I noticed you have it in your hair right now.
I do. I have glitter. I got glitter put in my hair for Cocodona, so it's still there. Yeah, I don't know. I just like I
Well, you
know
two
that
are a
I
match
see
made in heaven.
I'm telling you, sparkles help, glitter helps, unicorns help. It all helps you get through. And the
it
more
does.
fun you have, like what
It's like,
doesn't
how
hurt?
can you take yourself so seriously when you have like glitter hair and unicorn socks? Like, how can you like really be suffering that badly?
I
Exactly.
mean, not to make this about me, but when I ran New York City last November, I even put glitter all over my
He did.
beautiful shaved head.
Yes, I love that. See, glitter is always a great move,
It's
but
not
I
like
it's
you were gonna chafe or anything on the top of your head. You're fine.
Yeah, true. This has been fun. Randy, you've been incredible, so gracious with your time, but you're not off the hook yet.
all
We
right. Love
have
it.
2 final questions. We ask everyone the same 2 questions. I did 0 to prep you for this, so my apologies. But these 2 questions are brought to you by My Race Tats. So thank you to Dawn for My Race Tats. My Race Tats, if you don't know what they are, because I saw the
I
glitter.
do. I have a bunch of them of like the motivational sayings.
Yes.
Aren't they
Yeah,
great?
they're so awesome. I love that company.
Don is the best. He's down in South Carolina, and he's been a huge part of like our success and just helping us. And every time we're like, "Hey, we're going to an event. Can you send us some more?" and we hand them out. He's amazing. So he sponsors the final 2 questions.
Love
And
it. Thanks,
I'm going to
Don.
go first. So I change my question up every year. This year, it's a hot take. I want to hear a hot take from Randy. This can be fun and silly, or it can be serious. It can be like pineapple doesn't belong on pizza. It could be like who has carbon plates in a trail running shoe. Do you have any hot take?
Oh my gosh. Okay. I feel like I am really on the spot here. But okay. I guess I feel like my hot take is that like every food at an aid station should be soup adjacent. Like I'm gonna say like soup, like it should be like almost soup, but not quite. Like if you have to chew it, it does not belong there. Like I'm going like oatmeal, mashed potatoes. Like
Yeah,
it has to be soup adjacent, or it's like it like why are we wasting our time with it? So
I
that's
love
my hot
this.
take.
I love this. Honestly, you know how people will put out a bowl of pretzels during a race or something? Like, that's the
Why?
last thing I want to eat because all it's going to do is dry out my mouth and then I'm going to need more liquid. And so I love where that went.
Yeah, like people just eat, they put out like the weirdest shit. And I'm just yeah, that's what I kept
Stick to
telling
the
my
ramen noodles,
telling my
something
team.
salty. Yep.
Yeah, I kept being like soup adjacent. That's all I want. Like it has to be like beige and like almost soup.
I like
It's
that one.
perfect.
I like it. I don't know if I'm into the soupy stuff, but it makes a lot of sense because chewing is hard at 100 plus miles.
Yeah,
Mhm.
chewing is really hard, and it takes a lot of energy, and I
Yeah.
think like that's yeah, don't waste it.
I thought after
Absolutely.
my first full Ironman, I say first like I've done multiple. I've only done 1 full Ironman, but I said I want a pizza. And
Oh
I
yeah.
remember like not even be able to eat more than 1 slice because it was so hard for me to eat it, like to chew it. So you're
Yeah.
right.
And like from the dry air, I mean, wow, that also messed me up. So like I've
Oh.
never gotten a bloody nose once in my life. Never.
You're
I had
so
an
lucky.
8 hour long bloody nose at Cocodona, and my lips like cracked and bled, and then the inside of my mouth cracked and bled. So like, yeah,
Mhm.
how are you gonna eat like a fucking pizza when that's
I know.
happening?
Yeah.
That's the last thing you want to do is eat
Yeah.
anything when
I
your
don't know
whole
what I was
mouth is
thinking. I just
destroyed.
Yeah.
wanted a pizza. I think it's because I tried so hard to like watch what I ate, and I could eat pizza every day. I went a
Yeah.
while without having any. It's like I want a big, thick pan pizza after the race with mushrooms, sausages, and pepperoni.
Yeah.
Yeah, that pizza went to waste.
I know you're gonna laugh because I'm thinking like, what was the big meal that I ate after Cocodona? Like my
Yeah.
first meal, clam chowder, soup,
Soup adjacent.
beige soup. After 4 days of eating soup adjacent things, I had beige soup was my post Cocodona meal. So like, yeah,
If
that
it
was
works, why question it, right?
There's there's an ultra. You should do this. It's in Colt State Park in Rhode Island, and it's called Anchor Down. And in the
okay.
middle of the night, this race starts at 7 p.m. by the way, but at like what 2, 3 in the morning, it's ramen noodle soup.
I'm there. I did a 100K recently, the Desert Peak Ultra, and at mile 50, it was a 100K, and at mile 50, they had cup of noodles. And I started to say, I didn't know that there was a Michelin star restaurant on this course. Like, I was so happy. Like, I don't even know. I don't know what's wrong with me. Like, I just love soup so much when I'm out on the course. Like, we can unpack that at a later date.
No need. I understand. I think that's fantastic. All right, Randi, before I get into my last question, I have just one more thing about Cocodona because I thought this was really cool and unique, and I wondered if you participated. So I know
Awesome.
from watching the live stream that they had, I think it was like the Mingus aid station. They had people playing like basketball and seeing if you could like shoot some hoops while you were, I don't even know if this was mile like 100 or
Yes,
something.
it's 110 on the top of the mountain.
Did you play?
So I unfortunately did not play. If you have the photos accessible, I was dressed in a flamingo snuggie at that point.
Wait, this was this last Cocodona?
Yes, that was his last Cocodona. I was in a
Are they on
bad way.
Instagram?
And so, yeah, my team tried to make me happy by giving me this giant flamingo snuggie. And I just have like the most pathetic look on my face, but I'm like in this like flamingo costume. But what I will say is that my team, they let the crew compete and my team crushed it. They are like huge basketball fans and like huge Knicks fans. They were spending like the whole week following the Knicks in the playoffs.
Yep.
And Joe and Ben in particular are like huge basketball fans. And I saw they won. I guess they got enough shots that they won t-shirts, like the Mingus basketball shirts. And I was like, only you guys would go to an ultra marathon and like emerge with a basketball shirt. Like, who does that? It's like the Venn diagram is the two of you. I'm like, who's that's a different kind of flamingo. That was flamingo yoga.
That's awesome though.
That was pretty awesome too. I went to the Bahamas and did flamingo yoga, which was a pretty awesome experience. But yeah, I did wear a giant flamingo snuggie at mile 110. So that was
I had to ask. I think that's super unique. So I'll let Eric keep searching, but I'll ask my other question. So we have a Spotify playlist and we like to invite our guests to add a song to it. So is there anything that you would like to add to our playlist that maybe got you through the hard parts of Cocodona?
100%. And it's like the most random song. Okay. It's by Jocko and it's called Discipline. And it's literally just this guy screaming, there must be discipline for like 5 straight minutes. And like, I don't know. So it started as a joke between me and my
there it is.
You got it. You got the flamingo snuggie.
Where did you get that flamingo snuggie? I love that.
Erica loves flamingos.
Yeah, my team surprised me with that at a dark moment, but they were off playing basketball right before they gave me the snuggie. But yeah, so this Jocko song, what started as an inside joke with me and my 15-year-old son, I played it for him and he's like, Mom, this is embarrassing. Like, why are you playing this song with this guy screaming about discipline? And then the next day he's like, hey, can you send me a link to that song? And I was like, oh, is this our new favorite song? So now anytime he and I do anything hard, we blast like, there must be discipline. And just like anytime we're going up a hill or anything. So that was my like secrets, happy song.
Perfect addition.
So Randi, it's been about 2 weeks. Have you signed up for the next one?
So I did not put my name into the lottery for next year for Cocodona. The lottery closed today. I did not put my name. I felt a sense of peace. I felt like, like I'm not saying never say never. I'm
Mhm.
like, I'll probably come back to that race in the future, but I feel like, leave a party when it's good. And like I had this great PR. The race came together as well as I could have hoped. But I do have a few other fun adventures. I'm pacing my friend Joe Corcione. I'm pacing him at Badwater.
Ooh, coming up in July, right?
Yeah, so he's like really racing Badwater, and I'm gonna pace him at that, which I'm super excited about. And then I'm gonna be racing the Miami 100 in September,
Wow. Yeah,
and
you
that's a
got
fun.
a stacked fall, summer, like yeah, coming
Yeah,
up.
I'm kind of trying to focus on the 100-mile distance, and actually I'm focusing on road 100, which is interesting because I feel like I love the trails. They're
Mhm.
incredible, but I feel like I sort of forced myself into trails because I was like, that's what ultra runners do. They run on trails. But what I realized about myself is that like I'm actually a road runner. Like I live in New York City. I train
Me and
on
you
road.
are really are
I love
like so
road.
like.
Yes, I can't. I know we need to run together more and
We
chat.
do.
So
We do.
I figured this next year I'm gonna give it a go at some like real road ultras. And so Miami is going to be my first one, and if I like it, I might try to do some others. So
There we
I think
go.
that's going to be the theme of 2027 for me is like the road ultra.
Well, once you figure out what you're doing, I'm going to pick your brain because as much as I like trails, they don't like me. They're out to get me. So I usually get hurt, fall somewhere. I could fall over air, like I trip over air. So roads are
Yeah.
my happy place. Like even my local rail trail is paved and it's beautiful and I love it. And so the roads are
It's,
where I feel more comfortable.
yeah, I mean, beside like the fire roads and trails make people invisible. So like, why would you? It's like we already came to that conclusion.
Exactly.
Last one for me? You live in New York City. Where are some of your favorite places to run in New York City? I see because my sister lives in Queens and she's running all the time. Like, what are some of the great, like, I'll
The
say
entire
hidden,
perimeter
yeah,
of
yeah,
Manhattan.
but like
Yeah,
hidden spots. Like, we
and
we
spots.
we do have some friends out there, and they talk about like some amazing places to run outside of Central Park.
Yeah. Okay. So obviously, Central Park is like the mecca, and we are very lucky to have like the best 10K loop, I think, in the country, like
Mm.
right there. But I will say that a few of my other favorite runs are running over the George Washington Bridge into New Jersey. That's a really epic. A beautiful run. And when you get to the other side of the George Washington Bridge, you can either choose road or trails because there's like a whole trail
Oh.
system right there. So you
Mhm.
can pick either or. And that's how I did a lot of my Cocodona training.
Nice.
Also, a lot of people don't know, but starting from the Staten Island ferry, it's called the Empire Trail, and it starts along the West Side Highway, but it actually continues for 400 miles to Canada. That
Whoa.
trail, so you can actually like run like a bike path or trail system for literally 400 miles from the bottom of Manhattan. I usually will like take the train and start it at some random place and like find myself somewhere beautiful in the Hudson Valley or like you can really just hit a lot of places very close to New York City.
What a cool way to explore. I love that. Well, you'll
Yeah.
never get bored, that's for sure.
I know. I will say so, Eric, to your Ironman point, my husband and my son are big triathletes, and my husband's done a bunch of half Ironman, and I have a lot of friends, and I am enough of a douche that like at mile like what is it? What is the full Ironman distance? It's like 140.
140.2?
Yeah.
140.
So at
6,
like
140.6.
at mile like 141 of Cocodona, I stopped and took a video for my friends who have done Ironman about how embarrassing it is that they needed wheels to go that distance. And I was like, I just like don't even know if we could be friends. I'm so embarrassed for you that you like needed wheels on a bike to go this distance. Like I took time out of my Cocodona race to film that video. Like
Worth it.
that's like, yeah, I feel like
That's
super.
pretty good. That's pretty good. However, I'll you did Ironman Maine, but you did Augusta. I did Ironman Maine, Old Orchard Beach, and I don't know if you like lobster, but that was some of the best post-race food I've ever had.
I mean, if they make it in a soup, I'm here. Right?
That's true. Yep. This was wicked awesome, as we like to say up here in the Northeast. We're not that far from you. New York is right now. I don't know how any marathon can top it. I ran it last November, so that was incredible. And I hope to have more of a presence there as we continue to grow. But this was incredible. I need to shout out Josh because I knew I could DM you or something, but all that I did was I said, "Hey, I know you're friends with Randi, and she just did Cocodona. Like, when things die down, you think she'll come on the podcast?" 20 minutes later, you started following us, and I go, "I guess so."
Totally. Yeah. You know what? I feel like if Josh vouches for someone, I'm there. And the two of you are just like sunshine on a screen. I've had I don't think I've laughed this much in weeks. So,
Well, I love to hear that, and thank you. We have a lot of fun here, and I like to say, everyone who comes on, our pod fam, as we call it. Welcome to the pod fam. This poster here is our first 100 ever guest that helped build the
We're gonna
foundation.
make another one.
You're part of the pod fam now. Like, if
it.
someone ever walks up to you, Chad, the Clydesdale runner, he might walk up to you one day and you'll say, "Hey, we're pod fam." And I love that our pod fam does that. So welcome.
I love that. And Erica, I hope I see you out at a road ultra this year.
I hope so too.
And it's so cool to chat with both of you.
This was awesome. I'm so glad you spent some time with us, and I'm so proud of you for your accomplishments. I know you're doing awesome things, and I know these, especially the road hundreds, you're going to crush them. So just have a wonderful rest of your season, and yeah, we'll catch up hopefully in person.
Yes, can't wait. Thanks.
Guys, that was wicked awesome. I really hope you enjoyed this. Randi Zuckerberg, after crushing Cocodona for the second time with that 10-hour PR. What a story about Boston, by the way. She absolutely delivered. You understood the assignment, Randi. Thank you so much for coming on the pod.